The officials are ready here in Kultum in Roscommon in the middle of summer in Ireland. Would you believe the weather we are having? It's unbelievable. And we've had rain for about 2 days. It's pretty crazy. But the good news is that the game goes ahead. The pitch is actually in good condition. There's a little bit of water around one of the goal mouths, but other than that, it's in very, very good nick and very firm. And the officials, as I say, are there. Eddie Cuthbert and his team ready for this game in the TG4 Senior Football Championship Relegation Playoff. The other game is Waterford against Tip. The two losers will meet next week. Let's go straight to the teams, to the Laois team, and there's two changes from the team we have been given. So that is the 15 we were given, and since then we've been told that number 10, Aoife Cavan, has been replaced by Eva Galvin, number 22 from St Conleth's, and Andrea Moran, number 12, has been replaced by Grania Moran from Port Laois, and she is wearing 17. So those are the two changes for Laois. But of course, a lot of familiar names not there. Erin Fitzpatrick, the Moors, Aisling Donaher gone from last year, but they still have a strong team and they are still capable of reaching heights, and indeed some people are making them favourites today. Let's have a look at the Cavan team then. That's the 15 we've been given. We haven't been told about any changes just yet, so as far as we know, that is the team. They are back in blue today. They're not wearing white. They wore white the last day, but both teams of course wear blue, and they won the toss to wear their blue, so they will be in blue today. Sheridan's up the middle. Cavan Madden has come in at midfield there to partner Eliana Madden, and will be interesting to see how that goes, or if they stay in those positions of course. Nessa Bird has dropped into centre half back. From midfield, the captain from Crusherlock, and Murren Cusick from the same club, and Christina Charters and Shauna Lynch. So Crusherlock well represented in the Cavan team there. So those are the teams, and they are fighting to stay in senior championship now. The teams are going in, well, one of the teams is going into the dressing room at the minute, and we'll be ready to start just after that. The weather, as I say, it's sort of drizzling at the minute. It's not incessant, not too heavy, but still not great all morning. Pretty bad on the way down here, but the pitch has taken it. That's the good news. So we do have a game. The matter is confidence. These two teams have taken some hammerings recently. It's been quite a baptism of fire. A tough first year for Laois coming up to senior after winning intermediate last year. They lost heavily to Dublin and then Meath and Leinster, and have lost to Mayo and the likes of Armagh as well in the senior championship. The poisoned chalice, it's been a sobering learning experience at senior level, and of course they don't have some of the key players from last year, so it's been a tough year for them. So it remains to be seen, will they have enough to stay up in senior, or will they be going straight back down? That's the question for Laois. What can they provide today? For Cavan, well, they have a big day tomorrow in the under-16 All-Ireland A final against Cork. That's a big one for them to look forward to. Back in under-14 level in 2015, they won the All-Ireland A at that level against Cork, and they'll be looking to repeat that tomorrow. But today, it's about trying to stay in the senior championship. The two losers, as I say, will go in next week to play each other. So they've two chances. Today is one chance, and next week that is your last chance. So whoever wins today definitely stays up in senior, and the loser goes into another playoff. Recently, as I say, both teams have had a few big defeats. Cavan lost to Dublin and Kerry, and lost heavily to Armagh at the end of May. They lost 5-15 to 1-8 against Dublin, and Kerry last week beat, or was it the week before, beat Cavan 2-21 to 2-5 down in Kerry. But of course Cavan depleted as well. Of course they've 15 out there, but they've a lot of players who would have played down the years and would have been key players and are not there, are not available. Mona Sheridan, Lauren McVitie, Annie Denneher, Sinead Green, Laura Fitzpatrick, and those last two are former captains. Those are the sort of players that they have been missing. So nearly ready to go. Players have gone into the dressing room from both sides, and then we will see. Fairly good crowd over the far side, taking shelter in the stand, and we are nearly ready to rock at Kultum in Roscommon. Just waiting for the players to come back out for this TG4 Senior Football Championship Relegation Playoff. Waterford against Tip in the other game, and the referee Eddie Cuthbert blowing his whistle rather impatiently now. He wants the teams out, wants to get going, understandably. It's a cold, wet, miserable day, and it's 2 o'clock, so it is time to go. Hear the referee blowing again. He wants the players out. It is 2 o'clock. He wants to start on time. Don't think that's going to happen now. No sign of the players just yet. They have indeed gone in. You can contact me if you wish directly on my Twitter account. That's at Jerome Quinn. Or on my Instagram account. That's at Jerome Quinn 1. Feel free to send me a message there or let me know what you're thinking or where you're watching the game from. I imagine we have a few viewers in Australia. There's that many top players, of course, that have gone down there. There's a few from this part of the world and from these counties. Referee blowing his whistle again. He's not happy with this delay. No sign though. The management teams are out, but not the players. The manager, of course, of Cavan is Jerry Moan, former Tyrone manager for Manaman. And for Laois, the manager is Donny Brennan. And last year, his team, if you remember, were free-flowing, high-scoring. But this year, they found it much, much tougher at senior. It is a learning experience, and it will be key for them to try and stay up so that they can learn from all that and maybe get a little bit better next year. But it's tough, isn't it, when you're getting big defeats by the top senior teams, the Dublins and Kerrys of this world, and the Mayos putting big scores past you, and the likes of Armagh. It's been a tough year, but that is a step up from intermediate. And I'm sure you're picking up the whistle again from Eddie. He's checking his watch, and he's really not happy at all that the players are still not out. They've gone in to remove t-shirts and come back out for the game, and this game is not going to start on time. Umpires are in place. All the officials are ready. We're ready, and we're hoping any minute now the players will come out as well. There we have it. There finally now we have Laois coming out wearing white with a bit of blue. So that is the result of the toss, that they lost on which colours to wear, because both teams have the same first kit more or less and the same second kit as well. Cavan wore their white jerseys a couple of weeks ago against Dublin, even though they were at home that day, and they have preferred this time to wear their traditional Breffni blue. So it'll be Laois in the white, and there's their final warm-up about to take place. And I'm just looking around to see how many players are there and any changes. Well, number 20, I suppose that's not just the starting team. I see 20 out there as well for Laois, and that is Ellie O'Connell from Sarsfields, and 18 is out there. That's Tara Byrne from Park Rethaniska. So that is their squad ready for the game, and then the subs will come in and join me over to my right here. I have the Laois Cavan subs rather right beside me already. Our squad members, I think it is. So one team out, and we are nearly 2:05, is it? 4 minutes past 2, and now we have Cavan coming out. Breffni Blues coming out. They have had a tough year as well. They actually haven't won a game since February. 26th of February they beat Roscommon, and today we're in Roscommon, so it's been a tough year for Cavan. A few big defeats in senior, and before that in the Ulster Championship they lost to Donegal and Armagh. So it's been a tough time for them. They did start the league quite well. We saw them beating Monaghan in Donamoyne with a good performance that day. So there are a few good results early in the league, but they have not won since the 26th of February, and we are now in the middle of July. That's the Laois huddle. The captain is Ellen Healy, and she will be saying to the players, come on, big effort here. Ellen from Port Leisha. Where's number 6? Likes to get forward. Saw her score a goal last year in Port Leisha, actually, in O'Moore Park, in the championship against Wexford, from centre half back. Good attacking centre half back. And in those days, Laois were scoring goals for fun. So I see 17 out there for Laois. That's the one I told you about, Grania Moran. Cavan, just checking their numbers. Forwards all look to be present and correct. There's a 27 going in though. In defence to fullback for Cavan, and that is Niamh Keenan from Lara United, and number 4 has gone to centre half back. That's Christina Charter. So a few tactical switches and one personnel switch. And finally now we're ready to get going. It's 6 minutes past 2, and Eddie Cuthbert throws the ball in for this TG4 Senior Football Championship relegation playoff, and it's Sarah Ann Fitzgerald who always goes in for the throw-in, who indeed gets it. And now it's Eva Galvin, who was a late change, and she's right through, and she'll get the first score and gets it after just 12 seconds. Well, that's a signal of intent from Laois right at the start of this game. They do not want to be relegated. 1.2, no score for Laois. Nicely taken by Galvin. That's the benefit of having Sarah Ann Fitzgerald going out for the hop. They always do that in Laois. It was she winning possession, but that's called running into trouble there. Need to be a bit smarter. Nessa Bird moves it quickly. There's a certain urgency about this game, as you would imagine. We had that last week for Louth and Roscommon as well, because even though they are low in confidence, this is a game where they play it like a final because they want to keep up in seniors. So there's always a real bite about these games. It's certainly not a dead rubber by any means, which makes it intriguing. And it's two teams low in confidence, so they sort of cancel each other out. But then, of course, they have nothing to lose. Whereas in previous games against the really top teams, games are over after 5 or 10 minutes in a way. But these games are much livelier affairs. So Niamh Keenahan in for Cavan is the change that I've spotted so far in personnel, and she is indeed playing around the fullback area. Really excellent player. Usually see her playing more in the forwards area or around the middle of the field, but she's definitely taken up a position at the back. And Laois have dropped most of their players inside their own half. In fact, they've only one player in the Cavan half. This is Aisling Sheridan getting her hands on the ball early and immediately tackled illegally twice, and the referee making a tick there for that challenge. Bird, the captain, steps forward to take it. Now, where's the movement up ahead? Seems to be looking to head it long. Instead goes out to Aisling Sheridan, who again is followed by Ellen Healy, and fouled again by Ellen Healy. That's twice, and the referee not happy. He said that's not a shoulder. And is he ticking her again? Has she been ticked? Maybe she's been ticked twice, or maybe she didn't make the first tackle. I'm not quite sure. But either way, 2 ticks against the Laois players for tackling on Aisling Sheridan, who of course is their go-to player. But it'll be interesting to see if those ticks add up. And that ball has gone right down the throats of the sweeper, I think that is back there. That's Laurie Marie Meyer, number 11, who just sat in there. And now it's Laois who will try to counter, and it's Cavan drifting back to try and counter the counter, if you like. And it's Anna Healy for Laois. 22 is Galvin, who got the first score of the game. Looks inside for Laura Marie Maher again. Mo Nerdy slips it nicely to Galvin again, and she might get her second score, and she's just put that to the right and wide. But the referee says there was an infringement there, and that's going to be a free in, I think. Is that what he's given? I think it is, yeah. And you'd imagine Mo Nerdy will take that one. She scored 3 points against Mayo in that big defeat recently. 2 frees. There was a game earlier this summer we did in the Leinster Championship against Dublin where she didn't score in the entire game, and that does not ever happen. She put that one over though. And that's 0-2 to 0-1. Galvin again doing well to intercept there, but it's a Cavan ball. Shout from the sideline from the Cavan management is keep the ball. Tricky doing that in these conditions, I would imagine, with the ball being very slippery, hard to handle. They're trying to hit long and then the ball spills, but that's another free from the fouls by the Laois defence. And it was it 13 was back there? Was it Fitzgerald is back there? I don't think so, is it? Maybe it is actually. I thought I saw 13 on the back, so maybe she's dropped pretty deep, but it's a free in. So Cavan unable to get going. They've been fouled every time they get into the Laois half. But the last ball they put in was pretty careless. This is Aisling Gilsonen. I'd venture this is a bit too far to expect her to score from. There's a lot of wind, as you can see from the trees. She has struck it well, but it's dropping dangerously in the area and nearly dropped into the goal mouth, but it was well collected in there for Laois. And it was their fullback, Clodagh Dunn from Ballyrun, who gets it back now. And there is indeed Fitzgerald playing very deep for Laois. So it's Laois on the break. 17 is Gráinne Moran, and she's fouled. And now it's Cavan doing the fouling, and that was Keenan, 27. And the referee ticking for that. So 5 minutes gone. In a cagey enough battle, 2 points to no score. And the conditions obviously playing a big part. It's not torrential rain, but it's annoying rain, I imagine, if you're playing. So both teams struggling to get any play going, whereas last week we had lovely weather in Kinnegad for the game. No excuses at all, but today it's difficult for the players. Difficult to know and to get passing together, but this is better. This is Ellen Healy for Laois. Gets it out to Amy Kelly, that's the captain and the former captain, and now it's Fitzgerald going for an effort, which is just going to the right and wide, but the goalkeeper watched it. That's Roisin O'Reilly, without any panic, even though it looked a bit close. And O'Reilly now with the kickouts for Cavan. Can she get them going? Gives it to Bird, tackled by Galvin, fouled by Galvin. And the referee, I'm just watching to see, does he tick? And he has ticked for that. So a lot of ticks early on. It could be one of those games. We'll put it down partly to the conditions, but could be a few cards, a few sin bins, which could be influential. Later, this is Keenan getting in from her goalkeeper, and out to Emma Halton. So Cavan trying to work it through the hands. That's sensible in these conditions. Ciara Brady, number 2, and Caoimhe Madden from Gowna involved, and now Kerry McCormick from Kingscourt. Now Rebecca O'Reilly from Bailowborough. So about 10 Cavan players involved, but still struggling to get over halfway. Laois defence marking very tight, but Aisling Sheridan does get out and lays it off to Madden. Caoimhe Madden, and looking for number 10 Aisling Walls, but it doesn't stick. That's the problem. All those passes, and then because of the conditions, partly they lose it. Is this another free in for Cavan? It is. Tough day at the office for the players in these conditions. I have to repeat that. 8 minutes gone, Cavan without a score, and they've got a few frees, but they've all been outside the scoring zone. Have to go back to go forward. They go back to Christina Charters. So that's probably sensible. The last few balls in have not worked, so they're going to try and work it through. Aisling Walls to Caoimhe Madden, as opposed to number 9 Eliana Madden. This is Kerry McCormick, number 12, but faced up by 3 or 4 Laois defenders. And this is Ciara Brady. Good kick pass into a bit of space there. She spotted Gilsonen. She goes inside, but Laois's defensive setup will count that as a victory. They get there in there nicely, and this is Nerley, and she's rather cynically fouled there by Rebecca O'Reilly, and that's definitely worth a tick. And it is stopped the attack and prevented Laois from getting forward and allowed Cavan to come back. We don't like to see that. Well, I don't like to see that. Just for the flow of the game, just kills it a little bit. So neither team really able to get any good attacking moves going, or any danger or threat towards the goal area. Unfortunately, there would have been a chance there if she'd been allowed go. Galvin again got the first score of the game, and there's only been 2. Fitzgerald nips in there ahead of McCormick. Low ball looking for the number 15 Katie Donoghue from Timahoe. It does well, gives it out to Fitzgerald, to Nairney. She'll try on that left foot. Will she fancy it from there? Of course she does. And puts it over expertly. That's a brilliant score. That's what we know Mo Nairney can do. Just thought when she got the ball, will she fancy it from there? And she backed herself. And why not? Terrific finish. And that's the Mo that we know. 3 points to no score. 2 for Mo Nerney, 1 for Eva Galvin. I wouldn't say Cavan are panicking just yet, but one of their subs has been asked to go and warm up. Maybe they are thinking about some sort of change. Actually, the 3 subs, so it's just a normal warm-up routine. 3 for Cavan. They might be a little bit concerned that they haven't been able to penetrate. Keep trying to get the ball to Aisling Sheridan, but Ellen Healy is sticking to her, and there's another foul, and that one was on Aisling Gilsonen. The referee again on the spot. Gilsonen gets a breather and a little bit of magic water, and will maybe try to take this herself. 11 minutes gone. Gilsonen goes short. It'll be a give and go, will it? No, it's not. It's the other Sheridan. It's Geraldine Sheridan, who scored 1-1 against Kerry a couple of weeks ago. Back out to Sheridan. She's trying to bustle her way through, but it's tricky. She's surrounded now. She's gone in and been caught in the spider's web of Laois defenders. But here's a chance now for their first score of the game. Is it? And indeed it is. Just after 11 minutes, Muireann Cusack from Crusherlock finally gets the first Cavan score, and an applause from my right and a sigh of relief, I would imagine, as well, to get on the boards. And it was well worked, patient play, and got rid of the ball even though she was surrounded by defenders. That was key. And then Cusack was on hand to get the score, just to settle things down a little bit. Now, the goalkeeper has had to go and get the ball. For some reason, they don't have a spare ball now. Their management on the sideline are sending a few balls behind that goals, but obviously didn't think of that at the start of the game. So maybe it's because Laois were just warming up around that area or whatever. This is Fitzgerald, working well, playing 13. Sometimes just drops into full forward, but today she's staying deep and playing deep and been very influential around the middle, as is Laurie Marie Maher. They're just building slowly, Laois, on this occasion. Here is Fitzgerald again, head up, looking to see if there's any room up ahead. But as I look up ahead off camera, I can see at least 2 Cavan players. Well, no, 1 Cavan player sitting in there, and that is Nessa Bird, just sitting in there in the D. Not trying to mark a player, but just acting as a sweeper. And there's a yellow card already. Wow, that's a surprise. I did say the ticks would build up. Was that a straight yellow? I didn't quite see what happened there. But it is a yellow card, and it is for the number 10, Aisling Walls from Killygarry. Now that's a blow for Cavan. I have to say it was a distance from me. I didn't quite see exactly what happened there, but I don't think it would have been a build-up of fouls. So maybe it was something that merited a straight yellow. Either way, they're down to 14 after 13 minutes. That's a blow for Cavan, and Mo Nerney now puts the free straight into Cavan arms, though. That's Cavan. Sometimes losing a player can lift the team strangely a little bit. Maybe that will be the case. It was Emma Halton, I think, who intercepted the ball. No, actually it was Eliana Madden. It was. The 2 Maddens are at midfield for Cavan. Now a player down, but trying to lift it. Strong tackling again by Laois. They're doing that really well in this game. They're getting in and around and tackling in numbers and making it really hard for Cavan, who've opted now just for the big ball. That might actually go all the way, but it bounced in front of the keeper, and she read it beautifully. I was thinking, was that going to bounce in an area there that would go over her head, but she matched it really well. Interesting that Cavan just chose to put a big high ball in there. Just try that. And this is Keenan coming in to tackle and doesn't get there and didn't leave the hand in there. She's already been ticked, but interesting as well that Keenan is not playing full back anymore. Little push in the back there, and Bird is not happy about that, but the referee penalises her. Free in for Laois. I think they'd rather the play just went on, though. There's no flow to their game, no flow to either side at the minute. And that's a lovely ball across, though, looking for Maher. A little bit ambitious, but no harm in that, but just didn't quite get there. I think the conditions didn't allow the ball to bounce up as it normally would have. Otherwise, that would have been a great ball for her, taking it on the run. But both teams set up very defensively, as you would expect. in a game of this importance. They don't want to concede. It is an unusual one for both teams to have a game where they're either favourites or near favourites to win. They're both been used to getting quite a few heavy defeats recently, so it's a different experience. First quarter is over, 3 points to 1. Fitzgerald again involved, linking the play to Maher. Those two have been getting a lot of ball around the middle. And Anna Healy gets it to Laura Nerney. This is Galvin. And free outside the referee this time for Cavan. Neither team able to get any period of domination. Makes it interesting though. You don't know what way it's going to go. Both teams well matched. That's Aisling Gilson with a lovely change of direction and a ball into space as well, looking for Kiva Madden and found her into Murren Cusack. She's at the only score so far for Cavan, looking for a second, jigging around one way and then the other, and a hand went in there, and the referee very clear in showing what the fouls have been, and that was a hand in there. She went into that sort of territory where it was a little bit difficult. She could have been eaten up there by 3 or 4 players, but she remained lively and jinked around and got a tug on the arm or whatever it was up close and got a free, so a chance for their second point. 1 from play so far from Cusack, and this is Gilson and looking to get the second score for Cavan, their first from a free. So nearly 17 minutes gone. It's more in her range. She's given it plenty of height, and more importantly, not importantly, she's put it wide. Maybe too much height, whereas Mo Nerney at the other end had a free and drove it quite low over the bar. Might have been a better option. Remains 3 points to 1 for Laois. It's well taken yet again. They're winning a lot of those balls, especially from their own kickouts, and Fitzgerald always available, and ahead of her she has got Nerney. Gives it to Nerney, Laura Nerney from Portlaoise. And this is Mo Nerney from Timahoe. She's trying to get free, but very closely followed by Emma Halton. And remember, Cavan down to 14. They've turned it over again, though. They've won that one well. That's Ciara Brady for Cavan doing well and getting it back to Bird. So Cavan doing well despite being down to 14 players, aren't they? Could have and probably should have got it back to 3-2 as well. That's brilliant work by Sarah Ann Fitzgerald, tracking back and getting a hand, but the referee is now going to hold things up a minute because there's an injury further up to field to a Laois player who looks to be in a bit of pain. I'm afraid that doesn't look good. Whatever, it's over the far side. I can just see her moving around, and it's the sign of a player who's in quite a bit of pain. That's not good to see. And hopefully it's nothing too serious, but that, it looks like an ankle or something, doesn't it? Ouch. So 3 points to 1. Laois got the first 3 scores of the game. Eva Galvin with the first, then Mo Nerney with a free, and then Mo Nerney with a cracker from play. And there's the Laois manager, Tony Brennan, coming over. Actually, he's not going towards the injury. He's coming over to his management team on this side of the pitch to consult with them. So 3 in a row for Laois, and then Cavan hit back with Murren Cusack scoring from play. So that makes it 3-1 at the minute after nearly 19 minutes. Glad to say the rain has stopped. Still a little bit windy, but the rain has stopped, and this pitch here at Kiltoom in Roscommon has taken the rain amazingly well. It is up in a bit of a height. Really good setup and good complex here in Kiltoom. Really impressive. So Donny Brennan, the manager of Laois, and the rest of his team in there. He's got Martina Phelan, the FLO. He's got Claire Conlon, Paddy O'Connor, Conor Gorman and Tom Hargroves. His physio is Paddy Murphy, and the mayor Forna is John Murphy. It's only right to give out the Cavan management as well then. Management, of course, is led by Jerry Mohan. His mayor Forna is Barry Grimes. Physio is Ciara Harkin. And then he's got Katrina Smith, the FLO, Fergal Brady, Martin McKiernan, Conor Gilsonan, Emma Coyle and Dimpna Jones. Now, good news is that the player down is up, still hobbling a bit, but looks to be okay. And it's Katie Donoghue from Timahoe. So it's Laois 15 players, Cavan 14, remember. But just the 3 points to 1. So very low scoring so far. This is Amy Kelly. Tamar, who's playing more of a number 6. But the number 6 is busy just following Aisling Sheridan everywhere. So she's a free player in there, building from the back all of the time. 21 minutes nearly gone now. You're free to contact me if you wish throughout the game. I'm on Instagram at JeromeQuinn1 and I'm on Twitter at JeromeQuinn. And that is not a great connection from Fitzgerald. She's been playing really well so far, but that, as you can see by her reaction when she kicked it, was not what she meant at all. She didn't get the ball off the ground at all, really. Yeah, so feel free to give me a message or ask a question. Elsewhere, Waterford lead Tipperary in the other game, 3 points to no score. And of course the 2 losers go through to a relegation decider next week to see who drops down out of senior. So today is all about second chance saloon, if there is such a thing, and making sure that you don't leave it to next week. So the winner will end their inter-county year here today and secure senior status for next year. Cavan with Sheridan. Gives it out to Charters. Charters, number 4, dips inside one player, runs into a second one. Helped by Eliana Madden. This is better. This is Madden again getting it back, but she now is surrounded. Leaves it off to, is that Sheridan? No, I don't think it is. It might be Gilsonan. This is Cusick, and she scored their only point so far and may have got another, but it's gone wide, but they have got a free out of it. Been a familiar pattern in the game so far when Cavan have been going forward. Got a few frees around this sort of range, and now we see a substitution for Laois and one for Cavan as well, actually. Oh no, it's not a substitution for Cavan, it's the sin bin player looking to come back on, but not just yet. 12 has gone on for Laois, and that is Andrea Moran. And she has gone on for Katie Donoghue, who hasn't been able to walk off or run off that little knock that she took, and she's very upset about that coming off, understandably. Didn't want to come off like that, but she's obviously just in a bit of bother there. So Andrea Moran from Ballyroan, wearing 12, is now on the play for Laois. As Gilsonan lines it up. Didn't get the last one. She got this one. She has. 3 points to 2. Only Cavan's second score in 23 minutes, but they're only 1 point behind. And that kick out has gone straight to Madden, who bats it down beautifully. And this is a chance for Cavan. It's Gilsonan who's given it inside, and the shot is low. I don't know if it was going in, but the goalkeeper didn't know that, and Emer Barry had to be there and turn it round for a 45. I think it was Emma Halton who got all the way up there. Let's have another look at it. I think she was in on the left hand side there and went low. It was going wide, but they do get a 45 out of it. Cavan going for the jugular. A goal will obviously be a big score today, as we've only had 5 scores in 24 minutes. From the 45, it's Gilsonan again. She takes all of the frees and dead balls. Gives it to Halton. Oh, intercepted beautifully by Mo Nerney. And she immediately spins and looks to get the counter going, but the counter does not go very far. Instead, it's a free for Cavan, and it's Gilsonan. Wants to take this quickly. She's in a hurry, looking for Sheridan, and Sheridan is quick to show for it. She's got help there if she needs it. She does need it, and gives it out to... No, she keeps it, and then gives it to Bird. Bird, the captain, coming forward. It runs into Nerney, runs into a wall. Gilsonan fancies from distance, doesn't connect at all well, but it's still a tricky one for the keeper, and it's another 45 for Cavan. Cavan just upping the pace a little bit in the last few minutes of this game. And to be honest, they needed to. They have 14 players, but with just 2 points on the board, they need to raise their game a little. And still, the sin-binned Aisling Walls is not allowed to come back on, but it must be close. Another hold up after 25 minutes for a Laois player to get a little bit of attention. I think is it the fullback, which would be Clodagh Dunn, or is it Shifra Havel, number 5? I can't quite see. Havel from St Connellis, sister of Alana. And the fullback Clodagh Dunn from Ballyrone, same club as Andrea Moran, who has come in. See the number 2 there as well. That's Sinead Farrelly from St Joseph's. We're good to continue. Gilson, and then can they pierce the Laois defence? That's a good ball for Sheridan. Well found. Made a good run. Wants to get on that right foot. Instead gives it to Madden. Gives it to Cusick. Gives it to McCormick. Laois just setting up there, lots and lots of players behind the ball, making it very difficult, saying try and find a way through if you can. And there's an interesting ball from Rebecca O'Reilly, just popped it in there, but easily read. At least it just outnumbered them. Free out. Referee ticking again. He's already sin-binned one player and she's just come back into the play. That's Aisling Walls, so Cavan back up to 15 players. But I do think we'll see another sin bin or two the way things are going, and in these conditions and with the tenseness out there. Tenseness, is there a word? Tension we'll go with. This is Mo Nerney. Spins now under her left, and I think she tried to avoid the player, but I've been told recently that it's not just avoiding the player, it's trying how much you try to avoid. But she looks a little bit perplexed as Eddie Cuthbert comes over to take her name, actually. And is she going to show a yellow? He does show a yellow. Oh my goodness, well I did predict there would be more yellows. I didn't think it would be that quickly, and it's Mo Nerney who looks very surprised. She had the ball and collided with the player and looked to me like she was trying to avoid the collision and just wasn't able to. But maybe there was something else, maybe there was something said. I wouldn't have thought so, knowing Mo. But either way, that's a blow now the other way, and Cavan, after being a player down, now are a player up, and it's their player who's back on Walls immediately involved in the play. So that could lift Cavan here in the 28th minute. They go for the route one again. It looked like it didn't work, but Sheridan tried to get in there to win it. Doesn't quite. And the referee gives good advantage there to Laois as they try to build up the field. It feels like they haven't been on an attack for a good long time, but now, of course, they've lost their key attacker. As Cavan stream back, I can see 2 or 3 blue jerseys, and the whole play is shifted up the other end of the field. They all shift back with the play on both sides. But Cavan intercept again. That's good work by Cavan Madden, but now she's, I'm hesitating to say she's going to be penalised, and indeed she is. And she's not sure either what she's did, but it's a free in for Laois. And now it's the 14 players of Laois who are enjoying a good spell. 28 minutes, 29th minute, 3 plays 2. Very low scoring, but it's certainly close and up for grabs. Looks like she fancies this from distance. Perfect for a right footer, but again, like the kick from play, she didn't connect it all well. I imagine if Mo Nerney was on, she might have tried that herself, even though it was a bit over to the other side. So Cavan with an extra player coming up to half time. Can they make that count? This is Walls, closely followed by Moran, but gets her free and then gives a poor ball, and Moran gets it back this time and gives it to Farrelly. This is better from Laois, the 14 players. This is Galvin giving it inside to Anna Healy. They seem to have raised their game. Keenahan comes crashing into the equation, but Laois hold possession. Now they've 2 or 3 players out here, and it's Cavan who have set up very deep and very defensive. This has been the way of the game so far. It's been intriguing, not very exciting, it has to be said, but it's certainly one that you can't take your eyes off. Ellen Healy for Laois. They're having to be very patient in the last 30 seconds of normal time in the first half. Laura Marie Maher now from the Sarsfields club gives it to Farrelly. He's gone forward a little bit more in the last few minutes. A little bit of a tug there in the jersey. The referee gives good advantage. Laois trying to score again with Grania Moran. Out to Fitzgerald. Steps inside nicely and gives it inside to Galvin. Well, Galvin got the first score of the half, and there is a foul there, and the referee spotted it indeed, and he's going to take again for that, and it's a chance. But again, Laois are without Mo Nerney for these crucial frees, and instead it's going to be Fitzgerald again. Maybe is she going to fancy this? She hasn't connected well from 2 shots so far, and all of these could be very, very important at the end. Fitzgerald indeed is there and is willing to take it again. 3rd time lucky, possibly. So with Mo Nerney going off, her cousin Sarah Ann Fitzgerald steps forward just inside the D, steps inside the D, and it hits that one much better and puts it over the bar. Fair play to Sarah Ann there, didn't let the misses upset her, and has put it over in added time to make it 4-2, and it's double scores. The 14 players have extended their lead. I imagine we could have another couple of minutes at least of added time. We've had a few stoppages, mainly for the injury to Katie Donoghue. The rain, I think, is coming back. A bit of a drizzle. Cavan trying to get a score at the end of this half. Sheridan to Gilsonen. They come all the way back out, similar to Laois had to do at the other end. So when you watch games like this, you wonder, would it be interesting if they had to leave like 3 players inside their own half and they couldn't funnel as many back? This is Kerry McCormick from Kingscourt, spreading the play nicely for Madden. Madden fancies trying to go through, but just runs into traffic, makes a little bit of room for Sheridan. Now there's a chance, maybe that's Ciara Brady, and the shot coming in again, and I think it was Emma Halton again, who came in from that side before, tried to go for goal before, and it didn't work, and didn't work that time either. And in fact, she's also got injured, and I think the defender is injured too, and the referee let it go on. It's not a head injury, and the players will need a bit of treatment in there. I think it might be Amy Kelly who got involved there, or was it 7 actually for, or 17, might have been Grania Moran. No, it's number 4, it is Amy Kelly for Laois. So bit of a collision there between those two, and indeed the rain has come down here quite heavily in added time. 3rd minute at the end of the first half. There's just no way through. The teams are so defensive, and they did go for goal, Cavan, I think, but the collision has left them with a player down. I think, as I say, it's Halton. She went through earlier and had a chance that was saved by the goalkeeper. Just coming in from that left on her right foot can be tricky sometimes, and she just ran into Kelly, who was brave. She's hobbling out the fields. We'll try and get her in at half time and see if she'll be okay for the second half. And now we can continue with Sarah Ann Fitzgerald for Laois as we are into the 34th minute. Anna Healy looks for Fitzgerald again, but that's at close quarters, and she does a sliding tackle and connects with the ball, but the referee says that's illegal, and she protests. And I wonder, is she going to join her cousin Mo Nerney in the subs area beside me here? Are they both going to be yellow carded? She says, well, I got the ball, but I think this is a yellow, and it is. 3rd yellow in the first half. I did predict there'd be quite a few, and hold on, there could be more trouble here, because it looks like he's going to show another card. I think there must have been some dissent, and it's a red now for Fitzgerald. Oh no, she obviously protested that a little bit too much. So we've seen 3 yellows and a red. Drama at the end of the first half here in added time. And Laois down to 13 players. Sheridan to Sheridan as the sisters try to get a score at the other end, and this is Halton. Well, a few efforts from her have been halted so far, and she's been halted again, but a free this time, and here's a chance probably for Gilsonen to bring it back to a 1-point game at the end of the first half. And The referee, I'm sure, has ticked that challenge as well. Well, I did say these cards would come and they would add up, but I didn't think we'd see a red and 3 yellows in the first half alone, but that's what we've got. Shows, in a way, the importance of this game. Players giving it everything. There's a win-at-all-cost attitude out there today, there's no doubt about that. Rian comes down, Gilsonen goes up and over the bar and makes it 4 points to 3, and the 15 players against 13 have brought it back to a 1-point game at half-time. Well, not much in the way of entertaining football as you might not expect on a day like this, but certainly plenty of drama, and I think the second half is really going to be very, very interesting. Emer Barry with a kick out, and that's the last kick of the first half. We've had 5.5 minutes extra at the end of the half. Players very keen to get in, management keen to get them in as well. And for two teams who have been out of form, they have given it everything in the first half, but they are really going to have to drag themselves over the line. It's been a real battle of wills out there, and two teams trying to turn it around and get a result today. That's what it's all about, just getting a result. But the real story is that Laois are down to 13 players going in at halftime, with Mo Nerney yellow carded, and then her cousin Sarah Ann Fitzgerald yellow carded and then red carded. You don't often see that in ladies football, but it's 15 players against 13 at the end of the first half and at the start of the second half. We'll be back for that in about 6 or 7 minutes.
A lot can happen in just 1 second. Winning goal, winning save, perfect tackle, clever flick, good call from the ref, great shout from the line. The county title, after 30 years, a long wait over, in just 1 second. It's a game of seconds. Glorious seconds. Genius in split seconds. By great players. Just 1 second. The difference between a good decision and a bad one. A lost temper, frustrated shout, that gut reaction. We've all done it. And we're never proud. But we can do better. We all can. Sideline, dressing room, meeting room, all places of passion where split-second decisions are made. Good ones, bad ones, some days not so calm ones. It's instinct, we know, because we love it. We just don't think. But we have to. Of others, of our players, of our game. Think before we act.
Take a second, catch your breath. Collect yourself, don't regret. Take a second to make the right call for ladies Gaelic football.
Welcome back to Kiltoon, St. Bridget's Club here, where the rain has started to come down heavily again, as it's done just about everywhere in the country over the last 2 days here in the middle of July, believe it or not. But that is what we have. We have one team out, and that is Cavan. No sign of Laois, and I would love to know what's been said in there after what happened at the end of the first half. They have the lead by a point, but as the referee Eddie Cuthbert blows his whistle for them to reappear, Laois then had Mo Nerney yellow carded, and she was incredulous about that. And then her cousin Sarah Ann Fitzgerald was also yellow carded for a tackle where she went low and kicked the ball on the ground, and the referee gave a yellow. She was unhappy with that, and too unhappy in the way that she remonstrated with the referee, because he immediately followed up with a red. So Laois down to 13. So only 13 Laois players coming back out for the second half of this crucial 2023 TG4 All-Ireland Senior Football Championship relegation playoff. Remember, the loser from today has another game next week, one more chance. But today, you don't want to be thinking about that. You want to try and win it today and secure your status, and leave it at that. The rain is coming down. It's a miserable, miserable day. I'm looking around to see where Laois are going with their players, and they've only one player in the full forward line. That's the way it is, with only 13 players against 15. Cavan had 14 for 10 minutes towards the end of the first half, but they're now up to 15. So they have a 2-player advantage, and that's well taken by Eliana Madden in the middle of the field to grab it. And of course Sarah Ann Fitzgerald would normally have been there contesting the throw in, as she always does, and I think she won it at the start of the first half, so it was all too easy for Madden there to grab it cleanly, and that's why Cavan are on the first attack. It's Keenahan now as they come forward with those 2 extra players. But does it make an awful lot of difference in the way the teams are set up? Laois have all as many players as probably they would have had normally back there, 13 behind the ball. Every single player is inside the Cavan half, and now they will try to build. Rain pelting down on these players, just adding more to the tension and the drama, and making it even more difficult, and making it even more of a lottery, it has to be said, in this game. As it is, you just don't know what way it's going to go. Cavan a point down, but 2 players up. That's what we have. That is the situation. It's Ellen Healy, the captain of Laois, trying to get forward. The 13 players trying to increase their lead, and they get a free in. Players are going to need to be careful about what they say to the referee, because he certainly didn't appreciate a comment at the end of the first half, had no time for any back chat. And give a straight red. But this is a chance for Laois, surprisingly enough, with only 13 players. Now, they don't have Mo Nerney to take the frees. They don't have Sarah Ann Fitzgerald to take them. But Galvin steps up and just puts it to the right. That's very unlucky. In fact, it wasn't Galvin, it was Grania Moran, number 17, the other player who started the game, even though it wasn't named in the starting team. It was Galvin and Moran. Grania Moran started, and Galvin got the first score of the game. Now, at the start of the second half, Grania Moran nearly got the first score, but it remains 4 points to 3. Shauna Lynch there, you see, number 3 for Cavan. She did a big warm-up at half-time, so she's come in, and she's obviously been declared fit enough to play in this crucial game in the second half. Laois getting a free. Cavan Madden, or rather Anna Healy, sorry, the other number 8. This is Clodagh Dunn. I suppose it's an unusual one for Cavan. What do you do when you're playing against 13? Well, they've one player back, Shauna Lynch, who's just sitting as a sweeper. And they've probably another one around the middle, I think you would say. So it's a 2-player advantage. And Mo Nerney will come back on, of course, in about 5 minutes, I'd say. This is Galvin for Healy. Back to Galvin. Oh, she does brilliantly to get through, and she's tugged there and just waits for the advantage and gets it. And this is suiting Laois quite well. They're keeping things going until they manage to get Mo Nerney back into the play. And she's just down below me with the sideline official. It's Martin Conway, the fourth official. She's just waiting to get the nod so she can go back into the play. In the meantime, can Moran put this one over? Oh, has it gone inside the post? It has, and the 13 players have stood up and been counted and have added to the lead. It's a 2-point lead, even though they're 2 points down, or 2 players down rather. 2 points up, 2 players down. Shauna Lynch gets it from her goalkeeper. Cavan. Can they make it count? Well, they're going to have at least 1 player more, 2 at the minute. But Laois coping with that and the conditions really well at the minute and scrapping really hard. When I did say that it was going to be interesting to see what was said in half-time and how they come out for the second half, and just at the bottom of your screen you'll have seen Mo Nerney floating along there. She is back into the play, so it's now 14 against 15, and I'm sure at half-time strong words were said to Laois and they were asked to come out fighting, and that's what they've done. They've extended their lead. And all the decisions seem to be going for Laois as well. Maybe it's because they're just battling a little bit harder, they're giving it a little bit more. But everything going for them, even though they are down in numbers. And another decision for Laois. It was Galvin, I think, who was down. She's okay. So a long way still to go. And we haven't had anything like a goal chance, so that's a real dig. She's put that really high in there, and that's a good effort. And Galvin is scrapping for it, and she's managed to get it, or rather Grania Moran has got it and gives it out to Healy, and the shot just goes agonizingly to the left. Cavan looked a little bit exposed there, the way that they'd gone towards the ball and not thought too much about the big high ball in. Nearly got caught out. So Cavan's goalkeeper, Roisin O'Reilly, urgently gets the ball out. They are 2 points down. Her captain, Nessa Bird, is fouled. It's 21 there for Cavan, as Cara McCaffrey, who's in the play now as well. That's another switch they've made at half-time. Just the 3 points though. What can Sheridan do about that? Takes on 2 players, leaves it off, but a strong tackle coming in from Andrea Moran, and the referee says it was too strong, and he's not happy with that, and indeed has called for time to be halted while he goes to his book and allows treatment for that tackle. So it's getting hot and heavy. Not hot temperature wise, but game wise. Jerry Moan, the Cavan manager, is out there and he looks anxious. 37 minutes gone and they've only scored 3 points. That is the problem. The rain is coming from right to left, so it's driving into the faces of the Cavan players, making it even more difficult for them in the second half. Now the referee signals for time to start again, and off we go, and Keenahan takes it quickly from McCaffrey, and McCaffrey wants to get on her right foot. No, she keeps going herself. It's going to be so tricky into that wind and rain that is driving now into the faces of the Cavan players. In the first half, Mo Nerney made light of that with 1 brilliant point, but do Cavan have a player who can get a score like that, or are they going to have to work it in there and try and get a goal? But that's strong, committed tackling again for Laois. And indeed, it's a decision for Laois. Well, it's amazing the way games can turn. Laois down to 13 players, but they've come out fighting in the second half, and they've extended their lead, and they've won a lot of decisions and a lot of turnovers as well. Ava Galvin does well. She's been very busy in the second half. Laura Marie Marr has support from Laura Nerney. Desperate tackle coming in, and the referee wasn't happy with that from Keenahan. I think she might have got ticked in the first half as well. So she needs to be careful, and that's the sort of thing the management will be watching. 22 minutes to go. Can they afford to leave a player out there who's at 2 ticks? The rain is now even heavier, and it's in Laois' favour. Now, Mo Nerney, back on the field after a yellow card, is well out the field, but fancies this and is driving it with the wind, and that is a sensational kick from Mo. That's why they needed her back on the field. And surprisingly, even though they were down to 13 players, they're 14 now, they've extended their lead to 6 points to 3. That could be a crucial moment in this relegation playoff. Cavan with Aisling Sheridan. She's doing her best to get her team going every time she gets it. She tries to take on 2 or 3 players, and she's done that and given it to Lynch. And now she's fouled. Another strong challenge going in on her. And the referee ticking all the time. You can see the rain in the shots there. It's driving with that strong wind into the faces, I have to say it again, of the Cavan players who are playing, trying to score at that end. But that's a loose one, and it's gobbled up in there by the number 8, Anna Healy for Laois. Well, they look at the minute like they might be going to dig this one out, Laois, but a long, long way to go. But they have, although they're a point or a player down, they are 3 points up. They have a good, strong advantage in this game, and it'll get to the point where Cavan will need to go for goal, but there has not really been a scent of a goal at all. Clodagh Dunn plays it low up to Mo Nerney, who showed well, and of course goes onto that left foot and glides along the ground so comfortably and gives it to Eva Galvin. And she's been brilliant in the second half. She's really led the fight. And this is Grania Moran, but it's blocked down by Shauna Lynch getting back there. And who would have thought that the Cavan team would be under so much pressure in this second half, but they've made very little headway. I don't think they've even had a shot that you would call at goal. And they're 3 points down after 40 minutes now. Cusick got their first score of the game, but it took 10-11 minutes. Nerney settles this one on the ground. Will take her time. Laois in no particular hurry. Drives it in towards the middle, and it's well taken in there by Havel. And Schieffer Havel gives it out to number 9, Orla Hennessy. And that kick has gone high and to the left, and it has gone wide. It's a couple of missed chances for Laois in the last few minutes. They could actually be further ahead. Birds gets it from her goalkeeper. It was a tight enough situation, but she got it. Referee lets her go on with it, give the free, but she takes it quickly, and good to see that he let her go on. And a great spin there by Sheridan. She's so keen to get going, and she's fouled again. Laois defenders fouling a lot, but stopping Cavan effectively from building any attacks, and Laois just dropping a lot of players in there, and there's a lot of anxiety around me now. From a Cavan point of view, they need to get something. It's got brighter here, even though the rain is still coming down. Not as heavy, but it's got bright. And that's a tricky one, but they've got it in. They've got it into Muireann Cusick. And now Keenahan. She fancies it in her left foot, gives a great dig, but the wind is just taking it off to the left. That's unlucky. She took on the responsibility, but Laois had a wall there, forced her to take it from distance, and the wind just carried it away from her. From the posts rather. Amy Kelly gets it, and it's Laois who will build from extremely deep with their captain Healy, and this is Nerney. Laois playing with a good sort of spring in their step. They obviously had a bit of a clearing of the air, shall we say, at half time, and they've got a free here as well, even though it ended in a kick from Galvin. They have got a free, and they've drawn frees. They've just really upped the tempo in the second half, and Cavan management below me now looking to see what on earth can we do here. The rain thankfully has stopped. Now Nerney on her left foot, not ideal for a left footer, but I'm not sure anywhere is not ideal for Mo Nerney, and she puts it over. 7 points to 3, 4-point game, and they have stretched it. They've scored the only 3 points of this half, and after 43 minutes Laois, or what you might even call a commanding position in this game, given the conditions and given the low scoring. Keenahan calling for it, gets it, And Keno on her left side leaves it off to Sheridan, followed by Healy as always. He looked for Madden, but she wasn't reading it, or rather it was just, she just turned her back at the wrong moment. And it's Laois who'll turn it over again. Well, isn't it strange that a yellow card and a red card can, in a way, motivate a team to play better and stronger, and that's what's happened, Laois, in this second half. And that looked like a painful one for the number 7, Rebecca O'Reilly from Bailieborough and Cavan, as the Laois player came in there. And I think it's actually a Laois free, but in running into her, it looked very painful and looked like some sort of hand injury for O'Reilly. Cavan now warming up Ali Cahill from Killygarry to come into the play. They definitely need to do something to try and turn this round. Another weather update. It's quite pleasant here now. Rain has stopped and it's got a lot brighter. Cavan, remember, still a player up because of the red card at the end of the first half to Sarah Ann Fitzgerald, so they have the extra player, but you wouldn't know it from the way the second half has gone and from the scores. Rebecca O'Reilly is okay to continue. So Cahill doesn't come on just yet for Cavan, but she is ready to go. So she'll be on in the next minute or two. Ellen Healy gets it back from Moran. And off she goes. It's great work by the captain, and looks for Galvin, or rather it was Grania Moran, was it? No, it was Galvin, but either way, it doesn't matter. Because Cavan have it. Cavan on the counter now. They really need a score. And that's a little bit ambitious and didn't get to Geraldine Sheridan. The Laois defence have gobbled that up, and now it's they on the counter. Clodagh Dunn. And Laois running the show now. Anna Healy has it over on the left. They've really upped their game. Mo Nerney tries one from distance. Oh, that's vintage Mo. That's magic Mo. And Laois go into a 5-point lead in the second half. They've turned it round despite being down in numbers. They have increased their lead and they are running this show and leading by 5. Brilliant from Nerney. Substitution now being made, and it's number 8 Cavan, Kiva Madden coming off, and Ali Cahill is on. She goes straight in on a 1-to-1 with Anna Healy. That'll be quite a battle. So can she help turn this one round? That's tight from the kick out, but it just about got there. And it's a free, and Cavan have the ball, and Cahill is just in the play. Ali Cahill playing with her head up, looking to see where to go with it. Gives it to Keenahan. And referee has his whistle in his mouth, and I thought he was going to blow. There was about 3 challenges flew in there, but he let it go. Both teams giving it everything, and that's good play by the referee, good advantage. But now he blows for over-carrying. And it's Galvin who wants to take it quickly for Laois to Orla Hennessy from the Timahoe Club. They lead 8-3. It was 4-3 at half-time. They're still a player down, and they have a chance here for Galvin again. Gives it out, and does she fancy it again? She does, but that one doesn't connect the same way. And well taken by the goalkeeper, Roisin O'Reilly. Now can Cavan counter? It's a strong challenge going in, and the referee has had a good look at that. And it's Christina Charters who has gone down. I think it was Andrea Moran who came in with a challenge. And that's one of those challenges that makes you wince. You see it again here. And yeah, she was late. Both teams trying desperately to stop each other. That's been the way all the way through, but that's also why we've had 3 yellows and a red. And I wonder, will we see another one? 17, nearly 18 minutes into the second half. Hard to see a way back for Cavan at the moment. Simply because they just can't get a score. So coming down the home straight, feel free to send me a message if you want directly. You can do that on Twitter at Jerome Quinn or on Instagram at Jerome Quinn1. Referee is happy, both players are up, but this Looks like a card situation just by the way that he's writing, and indeed are Laois going to go back down to 13. They are. Amazing day for Laois. They've been down to 13 more than once, and yet they lead by 5. They dug in. But they did put in a lot of desperate challenges to try and stop Cavan coming out, and there's been quite a lot of fouls. And indeed it's Andrea Moran who's gone off, and the referee is about to restart the game, and Cavan once again have 2 extra players. It's 15 against 13, but they didn't make it pay the last time. What can they do this time? Can Laois hang on in the last 11 minutes with only 13 players? They've now had 3 yellow cards and a red in this game, and yet they lead by 5, and they've only conceded 3 points. Very unusual statistics. Cavan with the free. Madden gives it, or rather, yeah, it is Madden. It's the other Madden, Eliana Madden. This is Geraldine Sheridan. Cavan needs something a bit special, and they need it quickly. In fact, they need anything. This is Madden trying to get free, and she's tackled by Amy Kelly. And Kelly comes away with it for Laois. Strong tackling back, though. That's fantastic work for Cavan to win it back. That's exactly what they need, and it was Muireann Cusack who got it back, and that's why O'Reilly now has a chance. She was injured a minute ago, but she's still going. She's been fouled. She gets a free. Well, it's heart-stopping stuff if you're from Cavan or Laois. I know there's All-Ireland Senior today and tomorrow, but this is just as important to these counties. Free for Cavan. I can't even remember the last time they scored. It's been so long ago, way back in the first half. This has to go over. And she looks away even before the ball had reached the post, because Gilsonen has got a score for Cavan. They have got it back to 8-4, 4 points down. Is it doable for the 15 players? They need to press right up, and that's exactly what they're doing. So there's a lot more Breffni blue jerseys. So the keeper goes very long, but it drops right into the arms of a grateful Cavan. Is it their defender? I'm not quite sure the number. I'll find that for you now. She has it again now. Is it Lynch? And she indeed has the ball, or gives it to Geraldine Sheridan. And now Cavan trying to get through again for another score, but that's too close, and Laois nip in and get it back, and that's brave work in there, and it's Laura Marie Maher who's been in there all day, and Cavan just unable to find a way through. Tried to force it a little bit there, and once it went loose, there was always a chance. Now Laois have only 1 player up. Oh, and she doesn't take it though. That's Grania Moran. Not to be confused with Andrea Moran, who was yellow carded. Sin bin there. Cavan come again with Ali Cahill to Keenahan, coming inside on her left. The referee took his whistle to his mouth there. I think he was going to blow for that challenge from Keenahan coming in. Decided not to, which means that Cavan go on with Rebecca O'Reilly, number 7. Cavan trying to get through. There's a ball over the top, and there's a chance here for Halton to get a score. Oh, and it's going agonisingly for them to the right and wide. They can't believe it, Cavan. Finally a pocket of space in a shooting position, and she snatched at it, and it just went to the right. And it's 8 minutes to go and 4 points down. And it's frustration all the way for Cavan. Laois 8 points, Cavan 4 points. 8 minutes to go. Now there is another game next week for the losers, but Cavan will want to rescue it today. Brilliantly taken by Maher. She's got through a mountain of work for her team, and that was an important one to win. Gives it to Amy Kelly. The 13 players have stepped up to the mark. This is Ava Galvin. To Kelly again. Kelly has been all over the field. She was blocking a minute ago. Now she's helping the attack. Galvin gets it from Grania Moran. And it's Cavan who've dropped right in, but you can see their energy levels are low. Even though they've 2 extra players, they can't get out and press the ball. Now Cahill, who's come in as a sub, tries to. But Laois, very good at just holding on to the ball. That's all they need to do right now. She for Havel. There's room out here for Maher, even though they're 2 points down. Cavan have dropped very deep. They've 2 players up. They don't need to drop that deep, I would venture, but they have, and they've given away a free as well. And this all plays into Laois's hands extremely well. Laois could do with some new blood, some fresh legs, and that's what they're doing now, because Rachel Williams has come in from the Sarsfields club wearing 21, and she has come in for Grania Moran, number 17, going off for Laois, and she certainly put in a big shift for them today. There's going to be extra time added on, but it's still getting to that stage where Cavan, I think, are going to need something special, and that translates as a goal. Elsewhere, after 54 minutes, the other relegation playoff, it's Waterford 5 points, Tipperary 5 points. So nothing in that game, a very tight, tense game there as well. The losers of that game will play the losers of this game, but at the moment, they're drawing. .54.5 minutes gone, but there's been quite a few stoppages again, so I think we'll play it to about the 64th minute, I would venture. And we're still not restarting. Donny Brennan is still on the pitch. He's making his way off, and now Eddie Cuthbert says let's go again. Laois in possession. Healy, the captain, goes long, goes to Galvin, and she has had a fantastic second half for her team. She's been everywhere, and she showed well there to win that ball and keep possession and give it back to Healy. Well, that's an elongated 1-2, and Healy has got through again. She still has it. Might even put it over the bar. And, oh, she's put it just to the right and wide. She needs to get back now. In fact, Maher is sprinting back up the pitch. She knows that it's about not conceding at this point. Cavan with those extra players, trying to make it pay. Into the last 5 minutes of normal time. Cavan have not scored from play since way back in the first half. Wasn't even late first half, it was mid first half. Cahill now for Cavan. Oh, and that's too close again. And it was Kelly who was brave again. She saw it coming, and it's been too close a quarters many times for Cavan. And that was one of those balls that was always going to lead to some sort of collision, and Kelly was so brave for her team. And the former captain, the girl who captained them last year to All-Ireland Intermediate success, has really stood up in the second half of this game and put in a fantastic performance. 4 minutes of added time. Free for Cavan, and off we go again. I'd say there's about 7 or 8 minutes maximum left. The kick is good and it's long, but Keenahan spots it, wins it, but isn't able to hold on to it. She appeals for a decision. She's not getting it. Galvin, one of the players of the second half, along with Amy Kelly and a few other heroes for Laois as they've stepped up. The sub is on as well, and she is doing well. That's Williams just knitting it all together, and now there's a pocket of space here, and it's a number 5, Havel. Oh, it smashes off the post. Well, they don't need a goal, but they nearly got one. I imagine she might have been going for a point as the rain starts to come down again. 3 minutes to go. We've had everything today. Rain, sunshine, well, not much sunshine, but it did get bright for a while, and lots of cards and lots of drama. The only thing we really haven't had a lot of is scores. 8-4. 3 minutes to go in normal time. Cavan need a goal, and that would really liven things up. Ali Cahill, there's room over. They have extra players. Can they make it tell? It's Emma Halton, and she goes through and leaves it off to Murren Cusack. There is a chance here. Can they finally? It's Madden. It's inside, and she has got the goal. There is hope still for Cavan. Brilliantly worked. They have 2 players extra, 15 against 13, and they've made it pay. In the last few minutes, they brought it back to a 1-point game. Real drama here, and they might just be able to rescue this. It's Eliana Madden. Well, just when it looked like Laois were going to see this out, Cavan have got a goal from nowhere. And I remember they hit the post a minute ago. It could have been game over. Now, what have they got left? What have they got in the tank? They've still got an extra player. Or is it 2 extra players? I think it is. Laois still have only 13 out there. Looking to see where the player who needs to come back on is, but I don't see her. So it's not even close to coming back on. So Cavan, 2 players up, 1 point down. Minute and a half to go. Christina Charters comes forward. Oh, that's good work. It's the number 21, Cara McCaffrey. And it's Madden who got the goal. But she has been penalised. That's going to be a free out. And that was a hefty collision. There's been quite a few of them today. Let's see it again. Charters leaving it inside. And here it comes. Bang. Oof. That's a sore one. And I think is it Healy who's down? Or is it Hennessy? Not quite sure. It's hard to see from here with the number. Is that 8 maybe? Is it Anna Healy? Or Ellen Healy? Yeah. Or 6. It's 6. It's Ellen Healy, the captain. And when she has been yellow carded as well. So Eliana Madden, she's just scored a goal and she's come off. This game is at everything. Unbelievable stuff. And we're now 15 against 14. I'm losing track of the numbers. Look at the challenge once more. And there it was. Maybe it was ticks that added up, I'm not quite sure. But tension's running high here on the sideline between management and people over the fence as well. It's definitely not hot temperature-wise, but it is hot and heavy. And there's the goal again. So she gets a goal and then she gets sent off. We're now on added time. Jerry Moan is out on the pitch trying to get a little bit more out of his players. 1 more point. So there's only 27 players out there. Although I see number 12 for Laois, Andrea Moran, has been called. She's taken her bib off. And from being 15 against 13, it's going to be 14 against 14. Kelly is okay to continue. Well, I say okay. It takes a lot to keep a good woman down, or rather Healy, rather. They're from the same mould. Laois with Healy. The captain does brilliantly to slip that ball to Clodagh Dunn. Cavan need it back. Oh, and Sheridan. Geraldine Sheridan does brilliantly to win it back, but it's snatched away again by the other 14. It's Mo Nerney. And Mo goes off in search of another score, at least just to keep the ball down the other end, and gets it back because she's going to try another trademark point from the left. No, she finds lots of room here for Orla Hennessy, and that's high. Has it gone over? Oh, that could be the insurance score, and it's brilliantly worked. It came all the way from the back, and it was brilliantly finished. Good play by Nerney, not taking it on herself, but passing instead. And Hennessy, Orla Hennessy from Timahoe, the same club as Mo, could just have sealed this one for Laois. 62nd minute. Cavan got a goal. I said they need a goal. Now they need another goal. A goal, of course, would win it. This is Keenahan. And Keenahan is bottled up, but at least is retaining possession and gets her free. The foul by number 8, Anna Healy. Now, Cavan. They've got a player down themselves, but they have a fighting chance here. Rebecca O'Reilly, can they work it in? This is McCaffrey. They worked a brilliant goal a minute ago. That's going close, but it's well watched by the goalkeeper, Emer Barry. It was tense. It could have just dropped into the corner, into the top corner with a little bit more height on it. McCaffrey came on as a sub in the second half, and the keeper managed it well, but Cavan still have a chance. 9 points, plays 1-4, 2 in it. 63rd minute. Christina Charters, she had a hand earlier rather, in the earlier move that went through, and she's got a hand in this one. Shauna Lynch. Gilsonan. Gilsonan looks like she's saying, I can put this over and make it a 1-point game. There might still be time. We've had a lot of hold-ups. Nearly in the 64th minute. Gilsonan needs to put this over. Gives it plenty of height. Has she got it inside the post? Off the post. And just drops inside. That's how close it's been. Cavan make it a 1-point game in the 64th minute. The drama. The tension. Is there time left for Cavan? Push up is the call from Cavan. Below us. But have they got time? Oh, brilliant kick out and brilliantly taken as well. And Laois will relieve the pressure. And this is Andrea Moran, and she is heading for the corner. It's 9 points to 1-5. It's the 64th minute. She's still going. She's fouled, and she will get advantage and will get a free now. And what a run by Andrea Moran there. That has just taken it away, and that might just, be enough for Laois. That might be just what they needed. Because this could be a 2-point game again, and it has also run down the clock. 65th minute. Donny Brennan is calling his players back while Mo Nerney goes for her score and gets it just inside the post. 2-point game again. You know what that means? Cavan need a goal if there's time. Nessa Bird moves it forward desperately. Gilson has dropped extremely deep. Or it's more a case of Laois have dropped so many players back. They're sitting there saying there's no way you're getting through us. We have a 2-point lead that we are now going to defend. And that's a foul by Laura Nerney. Gilson with urgency takes the kick and gets it across. Cavan can't afford to let this move break down. They have a free. Now it's all hands to the pump. A point is no use, surely. Gilson has it again for Cavan outside the D. 2 points down in the 66th minute in this relegation playoff. She goes short. She knows there's no point in going for a point. That has to be a goal or nothing, and that's close. But it's gone to the left and it's gone wide, and the referee blows once, but it's not the full-time whistle. He does look at his watch. It was a decent ball in. It needed somebody on the end of it. 10 points to 1-5. 2-point game for Laois. Are they going to hold on to their senior status? Oh, that's brilliantly taken and brilliantly found, and credit has to go to the goalkeeper Emer Barry, because their kickouts have been outstanding today. Laura Marie Maher, especially when they really needed it, when the pressure was on. And the referee finally blows the whistle in the 66th minute, nearly 67 minutes, and Laois have somehow held on. Credit to both sets of players. They put in an incredible effort in really difficult conditions away today. It was all about getting over the line, and it's Laois who have got over the line. Well, the drama was there all the way through. There were more cards than Christmas. It was fantastic entertainment. I hope you enjoyed watching it, even though it wasn't pretty at times. It was difficult for the players in the conditions that were out there, but somehow at the end Laois have managed just to get over the line, and that's all they needed to do. And it's Cavan who will go into a playoff next week, the final playoff to try and keep their senior status. It's Laois who are not going back down after just 1 year. They are going to stay up. Elsewhere, I can tell you that it is, well, the last I've got from the other playoff is 5 points to 5 points, and it's extra time in the other playoff. So Cavan do not know who they're going to play next week. It'll either be Waterford or Tipperary. But they are despondent coming off the pitch here. They put in a terrific effort, got a goal near the end, nearly rescued it, but Laois just had that extra little bit about them in the last 5 minutes or so. And they stood up, and there were several warriors for them out there in the second half. Mo Nerney took some great scores, as did Orla Hennessy, but it was the Trojan work at the back from the likes of Clodagh Dunn, Ellen Healy, Amy Kelly, Anna Healy, Laura Marie Maher, of course, as well. And all that after conceding 3 yellow cards, or receiving 3 yellow cards and a red card. They dug it out and showed real character today, Laois. So it's they who will stay up. That's the end of their inter-county season, but they're delighted out there, as you can see. Their family and friends out as well to congratulate them. They have stayed up, and that's what today was all about. And it's Laois who will be playing senior football again next year. As for Cavan, well, they have a big game tomorrow in the All-Ireland Under-16s against Cork. That in the A final on that. But today they have been beaten, and they have to come back at senior level for another game next week against Waterford or Tipperary. It's been quite a day. It's been eventful, and it's ended in victory for Laois. From the live stream team from Kiltoom in Roscommon, it's goodbye.
lot can happen in just 1 second. Winning goal, winning save, perfect tackle, clever flick, good call from the ref, great shout from the line. The county title, after 30 years, a long wait over, in just 1 second. It's a game of seconds. Glorious seconds. Genius in split seconds. They're great players. Just 1 second. The difference between a good decision and a bad one. A lost temper, frustrated shout. That gut reaction. We've all done it. And we're never proud. But we can do better. We all can. Sideline, dressing room, meeting room, all places of passion where split-second decisions are made. Good ones, bad ones, some days not so calm ones. It's instinct, we know, because we love it. We just don't think. But we have to. Of others, of our players, of our game. Think before we act.
Take a second, catch your breath. Collect yourself, don't regret. Take a second to make the right call for ladies Gaelic football.